What's happening out there, guys? Welcome along to another episode of 420 News. 420 News is brought to you by Martin's World, and I'm your show host, guys, Martin Condon. And hope everybody's well out there. Hope you're all doing good. I see comments coming in there already. What's going on, Owen? Guys, trying out something new there today, and I have added Instagram to the stream, so I don't know how well that's going to play out for people who might be tuning in over there on Instagram, but I have added it in there, so hopefully it does work. We'll see what happens there as the show goes on. But yeah, guys, I do have a fair bit of news there for you to get through today. Again, I'd actually be more pleased if I didn't have any news to bring to you, to be honest. Like, I wish... I don't know, I wish things changed, like, because unfortunately, like, every single day, without fail, there is cases to report on. Like, the Gardaí are putting out so much content for me to be bringing to you afterwards. Like, it's crazy. I wish it wasn't the case, like, because a lot of the cannabis, again, being seized over the last 48 hours. 48 hours, like, all of this news is coming from. It's crazy to think, like, again, we think of the people who are winning in this. Like, all of those cases, all of those seizures involve multiple Gardaí who earn a wage. You know, those cases will have to go to court. You know, there's people in the DPP who are going to be processing files. Then you have the judges, the solicitors. You know, you have the prison officers. All of these people are employed along the way. Like, it's there's a big system at stake here in kind of keeping all of these drugs illegal. And our society's paying for it. Like, we're not benefiting from it. Like, our streets aren't safe. Like, drugs are fucking everywhere. Like, Prohibition has been a failure, and the only thing it's done is made drugs and our streets more dangerous, if anything. Like, again, you look at alcohol prohibition and compare it to our alcohol in society today. Like, it's besides all of the harms it's done, it's much less harmful than what it was before, because effectively before you could have got a bottle of alcohol that you could have took a swig off of, and you go blind, or you know, you could die because it wouldn't have ethanol inside there. It might have a methanol, which is another form of alcohol that's produced in the process of producing it. But they removed that because of regulations, because it's not safe to have in there. But before, under Prohibition, they didn't do that. So again, like, it's crazy to think, like, and again, we think that the people who are losing out, and people like Vera Toomey, who Bosco even got behind supporting more recently. You know, Vera Toomey, if you don't know, she's the mother of Ava, and she's fought for 5 years now. It's been to get proper effective access to cannabis, and still she is fighting today. Like, you know, the hashtag Talk to Vera, it trended #1 on Twitter, like, showing that the massive support there is there behind Vera to get access to it. Like, you know, and it goes to show, like, that when a puppet is able to show up, our government, it really goes to show that they're no better than a bunch of muppets, like, you know, because this puppet is showing him up. Like, he's more fucking support there, or more compassion within him than any of those fools in government do. Like, it's crazy, like. So well done to Vera, and well done to everybody who's took part in that campaign over on Twitter, supporting Vera, and who continue to support her all the time. Fair play to you all. And then in another more alarming piece, it was a good article I came across over on the Irish Examiner, and this was the headline of that article, and it's children still dying in their hundreds from drugs, warns support organisations. And these organisations have been kind of highlighting the fact that going back to 2017, that there was nearly almost 800 kids under 18 dying because of drug-related deaths. You know, to do with overdoses mainly. And again, like, well, what are kids getting their hands on drugs for? How is it so easy? Oh yeah, because these are being sold by criminals who don't need to put age limits in place. A lot of the times, like, some of these drugs might have been prescription drugs, again, like, you know, but being sold by criminals, like, within our society, rather than being dispensed effectively from the pharmacies. It's crazy, like, that we should be putting this in place, because these kids are in danger, like, and we're wasting so fucking much money while these services then are basically, they're at risk of not being meeting their funding needs, a lot of the times needing support from the public. Offering things like grievance support and things like that for families. Like, it's crazy, like. But the National Family Support Network said that that support workers were needed and welcomed government indications that this was due to start happening. But I don't know. I think they're just being nice and hoping the government follow through on their promise in this. Like, I don't think it is like, but they called on the state to make meaningful action to combat the horror of drug related intimidation. But as I've mentioned here numerous times, like, how can people protect themselves against drug-related intimidation when they can't even go to the Gardaí to report it? The Gardaí are powerless to protect them, you know? Like, they really can't do anything. Like, I have a few articles here, or a few pieces to report on today where people are fearful of what might happen if they refuse, you know, to follow maybe or to fulfill a request by maybe their drug dealer. Do you know, the intimidation is real out there, and it's only made real because of prohibition. Like, you know, it really exacerbates it. It makes the problem, I don't know, 100, 1,000 times worse. Like, it's crazy to think the effect of prohibition, supported by people like Frank Fian, our drugs minister, talks about a health approach, but he never talks about actually taking care of the people who use drugs in our society, like, and take them out of the care, or you know, the care of the drug dealers, like, as effectively, like, that's who's looking after our drug users in society. Like, they're providing the drug for them, so they are taking care of them, while the government are failing them. And then these people, like, they're getting criminalised. You know, the work of our Gardaí only makes the drug users' lives more dangerous, because often we see these raids happening. You see sometimes that the quality of the drugs can go down as the supply gets reduced, sometimes because of maybe massive seizures, or maybe the perception of a reduced availability because of seizures, because as well that's what happens. Like, drug dealers out there see an opportunity. Oh, there was a massive fucking drug find there up in Dublin, a couple of million there worth of heroin. All of a sudden there, the price of heroin can start going up on the street. Like, and the same goes for cannabis at times. Like, you know, they can use the stuff to their advantage. Like, it's crazy. So, like, this is this organisation anyway. They called on the government for a number of things, for more family support coordinators, to prioritise actions in the national drug strategy for families, including support for kinship carers and respite for families, specific national bereavement support services for families, meaningful action on the issue of drug-related intimidation. Do you know, these are the 4 calls, but nowhere in there do they call for an end to the war on drugs. Do you know, that should be in there for this. And I wonder, really, are they worried if they start calling for this kind of a change, if they start calling for, like, the policy to be changed, would their funding be jeopardised? You know, the funding they get from the government, is this why these people, like, you know, they don't speak out more? I have to wonder, like, because the outgoing CEO of this organisation, she kind of is, she said what Frank Fian has indicated in the last year is very encouraging. But really, I don't see anything that Frank Fian has done as being anything encouraging. Like, he's done nothing. Like, he's literally talked through his arse. Like, he's threw out a bunch of key words to keep people happy. He's given the impression that he's doing something, but he's done nothing, as we'll find out throughout the show. Like, as I've said throughout the last few weeks, like, I've no shortage of content to report on. Like, drugs have won this war, and drugs, like, they're everywhere. The lives of our Gardaí at risk every drug raid they carry out. Like, why are we doing this? Like, you know, why every time a drug user uses a drug sourced from an illegal supply, then not only are they supporting criminal organisations, but they're putting their life at risk because they risk taking an adulterated substance. Like Frank Fian is failing massively at his fucking job. Like, and there's no other way of saying it. Like, he's a failure. Like, and he needs to resign. Like, the same with our bloody health minister, Stephen Donnelly. Like, the man himself only said 4 years ago that he supports the idea of people being able to grow their own cannabis, and now he won't even address the issue anymore. Like, what a scumbag they are. Like, that the whole lot of them, they're scumbags. Like, because while they say they're doing a good job and everything, like, this next headline, like, drug offences in Cork City, based on the same period last year, are up 102%. They're not up just by 2%, they're not up by 10%, it's 102%. Like, it's crazy, the amount, the increase. Like, but I suppose really when we think about it, our Gardaí have so much more free time. They do, like, they're not dealing with the nightlife anymore, people falling out of clubs drunk anymore. You know, they don't have any of that drunk and disorderly, at least it's not as much. So therefore it's easier now for Gardaí. You know, they have all these COVID checkpoints, as we'll be touching off of here as well in a little bit. And they're finding all of the drugs now. Like, they're literally just getting lucky with cannabis a lot of the time. They can smell it, the fucking stuff, like, do you know what I mean? I can smell it more. Oh, it's delicious, like. So, like, they just get lucky. It's a massive failure, like, and these people will pat themselves on the back because, like, even within this article, which was on the Evening Echo, or just the Echo, actually, they took the Evening out of it. They talk about the detections for drugs for sale and supply were up by 80%, and then cases for personal possession were up 107%. And they're saying, like, you know, that they're crediting the police for very good work on the beat, you know. This is coming from the Chief Superintendent, Mac Polan. Do you know, of course he's going to say, well done to the lads, like, give him a pat in the back there, do you know, throw a dog a bone, if you will, like, do you know, because, like, that these lads are out there putting their lives on the risk, like, while Superintendent McPolan is probably whining and dining there with fucking, what's your man's name, that the fucking detective, the MI5 guy, Drew Harris, yeah, that guy, the head of our cops in Ireland, like, you know, he's probably whining and dining, he probably never has to carry out a raid. But meanwhile, like, you know, these other officers, like, who are kissing their loved ones goodbye when they're going out to work in the morning, thinking they're going out keeping our community safe, but in fact, by keeping prohibition in place, they're doing the opposite, while also putting their lives on the risk, like, risking not returning home to their loved ones, to their kids, like. We don't need this in our society any longer. Like, these people who benefit from it, like this Chief Superintendent McPolan, who's now going to be up with Drew Harris at some point in time and saying, look at us down here in Cork, look at how good we're doing, look at all our detections, look at all these cases that we're doing, all these criminals we're fucking catching. Like, it's a scam, like, the whole thing is a scam, and we need to bring it to an end, like. We really do, like, because our society is not benefiting from it, our communities are not benefiting from it. It's a failure. We're only empowering massive criminal organisations just to recruit our kids, to put our kids more at risk of taking adulterated substances. I would much rather drugs, all of them, be available through some legal outlet where there's a fucking assurances in place where my child cannot walk in there without being a consenting adult, you know, as we do with alcohol and tobacco and other drugs in our society, you know. It's crazy, like, kids can't even walk into a coffee shop and buy coffee, like, you know, and I don't even think there's rules in place for that, is there? I know they can buy Red Bull and shit, and I think that's bollocks, like, I know some shops self-regulate that, I don't know, is there legislation passed in it, like, but it's time we change this, like, and stop putting our fucking communities at risk. Stop letting fools like this fella here, look, this sausage from up the north, Detective Superintendent John McVera. Like, look at him, like, I don't know if can you see his face properly, like, but I think he's just after realising that fart wasn't a fart, and he's after following through, and he's up on the stage, you know, so he's panicking. But, like, this guy above in the north, like, there was 5 people arrested in raids, and these people are suspected to be involved in the sale and supply of Class A drugs, whatever they might be, but these guys are also involved in the East Antrim UDA, which is a paramilitary kind of group where I suppose they're using the proceeds of their drug dealing to support the buying of guns, to support their paramilitary activities up there. Do you know, this is what's going on, and your man here, Lynn, like McVera, like, coming out saying, oh, we're doing a great job, like, you know, that 5 men have been arrested in what investigators are calling a hugely significant operation to disrupt the drug dealing by a paramilitary group in County Antrim. And suspects aged between 33 and 43 were all held and conspiring to supply Class A's in the Carrickfergus area. Shout out to the lads there in the Carrickfergus Cannabis Club. If you're still active, lads, give us an old howdy. But, like, again, like, this fella here, like, he's saying, oh, hugely significant operation. Again, all he's doing is he's probably thinking about an old date with Interpol or something, like, again, climbing up the ranks, like, to get into a more better paying job. Again, thinking of his own career, bettering his own life, like, while our communities are suffering. this war on drugs has failed. Like, we need to end this, like, once and for all. Like, because people like John McVera, like, whether he likes it or not, he's a scumbag who benefits off the war on drugs. Every day he supports prohibition. He supports the war on drugs. In this operation that they carried out, it involved more than 80 officers. And it was a part of a long-running investigation into alleged organised crime and activities by paramilitary groups. So each and every one of these officers now are putting their lives at risk to target these people who are being empowered because of prohibition. If we removed prohibition, these paramilitary groups, it wouldn't be so easy for them to empower themselves in through the sale and supply of drugs in our society. It just wouldn't be possible for him. Like, so whether John McVera likes it or not, he's a supporter of the activities of these guys by supporting prohibition and the continuation of leaving drugs under control of these guys, like, because that's all he's done. It's all he's fucking done, like. And then his comments in this, like, working with our partners in the paramilitary crime task force, we are committed to continuing to target organised criminality associated with paramilitary gangs who exploit their local communities to cause harm and create fear. Like, I'm not against them targeting paramilitary gangs. I'm with you up to the next point, where he goes on to say, like, that the harm caused by illegal drugs to individuals and communities is evident. Drugs cause nothing but devastation and distress, not only to the people who take them, but also to their families who deal with heartbreaking fallout associated with drugs, including death, spiralling deaths and intimidation. Criminals who supply illegal drugs don't care who they harm in the proceeds of making money to line their own pockets and fund other paramilitary activities. Well, John McVera, I've got news for you, man. Prohibitionists like you, they don't care who they harm by continuing to spread their misinformation to keep their prohibition in place. You too, sir, have blood in your hands, just like these criminals. I don't know how you sleep at night, man. You're a scumbag like the rest of them, like the very people you tried to protect us from. You're a fucking scumbag. Sorry for cursing, lads. I'm getting really... You gotta calm it. But we shoot on back to Cork, because back home in Cork City, there was more cannabis detected. I'm going to take another swig of water. €140,000 worth of cannabis was found again at one of these COVID checkpoints. Again, like, detection, like, of cannabis at a COVID checkpoint. Surely the guards should be trying to catch COVID instead of cannabis. Like, surely it's better that the guards catch COVID than cannabis. That's my opinion anyway. Keep looking for COVID, guards. Stop finding people with cannabis. If you smell cannabis, just look the other way. Just make sure you're continuously focusing on finding COVID, because look, you took yourselves off the line of duty now. How many people caught COVID because of the guards now intercepting this cannabis at that checkpoint? Shame on them. This is not essential work. Like, this work needs to be discontinued until this pandemic is under control, because we're diverting our Gardaí away from COVID checkpoints. Why are they setting up COVID checkpoints if it's not to catch COVID? They need to catch COVID. The Gardaí need to catch COVID and stop focusing on cannabis, guys. So, you know, that's what I have to say on this. But they have an old image here on it, because the Gardaí love to get their tweets out and everything, that they do benefit from it. And this was included in the tweet that they put out. Again, we have here on the table about 7 kilos of cannabis, €140,000 worth. Again, overvalued. Like, if it was legal, I reckon that would be worth about maybe 30,000-40,000, like, at most, maybe. Probably less, who knows, like, but it certainly wouldn't be worth anywhere near that. And again, like, we'll zoom in on this kind of image here, and I don't know if you can see or make out what it says here, but it's Amnesia Haze is branded across it. So you would hope that the package contains cannabis plants that were grown from seeds described as Amnesia Haze, and hopefully they came from a reputable seed supplier then, to ensure it actually was a Silver Haze or Amnesia Haze. But you just don't know. Like, but again, like, all it has here on the packet is Amnesia Haze. Do you know, where is the batch testing? Where's the indication of THC and stuff? Oh, I forgot, this is coming from unregulated supply, so we don't have this there. And guess what? This can too be sold to kids. Crazy to think, like. So, and the guards arrested a man here, and under suspicion as well of intoxicated driving. I don't know what that meant, whether they caught him drink driving or what the crack was. But he was done as well for intoxicated driving, but they seized his cannabis as well, no surprise there. He's been held at the Mayfield Garda station under Section 2 of the Criminal Drug Trafficking Act, and a file will be prepared for the DPP and investigations are ongoing. And also, I suppose, samples will be sent to the Forensic Science Ireland to determine whether it actually is illegal drugs or not. Of course it is, but they're going to do it anyway nonetheless, and again, we're going to pay for it. All the people who are benefiting, the guards, the forensic science, the people who are getting paid a wage, while our society is losing out because 140,000, and guess what, if this was to actually be the value of it and this was on a legal supply, slap a 23% tax on, and that's exactly what our community is losing out on. Think about what 30,000 euro could do within our own local community if we were generating that kind of money into the local authorities or wherever the money might be pooled, and we could ring fence it then for things like guess what, education for schools, for hospitals, so we can pay our nurses and doctors an actual fair wage and maybe employ enough of them so they can actually take care of us when we get sick, so that we're not all forced to think that the private healthcare system is the only way. I'm not even going to get into that. That's political arguments. That's when I run for government again. We'll deal with that stuff. But crazy, what a waste of fucking time. And I suppose in another on an associated incident in Cork over on the other side of the city. This was on the east side, and this one now is coming from the west side of the city over by Ballina. There was 100,000 euro worth of cash seized at, again, another one of these COVID checkpoints. So again, the cops, I don't know, what the crack was. How did they smell the money? What was the crack? Was your man just going around with 100 grand up in his front seat or what? How did they get it? I'm curious. Obviously your man must have been known to him or something, and they carried out a search of his car, found 100 grand, and obviously having 100 grand in your car is illegal, I suppose. You're not allowed to do that in today's society. I don't know. The guy probably didn't trust banks. Come on, Bertie Ahern didn't trust the banks, and he was our finance minister. In fairness, if our finance minister can go around and not have bank accounts, surely, this man is entitled to do it and drive around, but he's cashing his van without the cops taking it. Ovens Road, man, there you go, Podge. That's the one, right, over by Ballincollig. And again, I hope nobody caught COVID over there, because at Gardaí, while they were counting this money, how many people with COVID went through their checkpoint, putting the lives of all you people over there, at risk, it's crazy, man, scumbags. All you people down in West Cork, you deserve to be protected. Gardaí need to focus on COVID. They need to catch COVID. I'll stop saying that. It sounds too bad, it really does. I don't want Gardaí to actually catch COVID. I want them to be... You know what I mean? It's just a joke. Other news, guys, and we're moving out of Cork and we're going to County Carlow, where in County Carlow there has been 200,000 euro worth of cannabis herbs seized, and 2 men have been arrested. Again, a Gardaí love to get their tweets out about this, love the interaction. I'm sure that they know by this stage that every time they post a tweet about cannabis that they are going to get hate. That's all they get hate. That's all the cops get. Every time they post about cannabis, it's well done, Gardaí, you saved us from a plant. All the sarcastic posts, all the liked and share posts. But the one thing they do know about it, their analytics go through the roof. The post engagement goes through the roof, because this is feeding into it. There's somebody getting paid for the guard's social media. So this person at the end of the month is going back to somebody within the PR department, the media department, and saying, hey, look how great I'm doing. Look at all the interactions I'm getting on Twitter. So guys, as much as I love it, I love seeing it, and I'm resisting now from commenting anymore. Let's fucking just make it dead from, I love it though. I know it's not going to stop. People can't help it, because they are trolling us. They really are trolling us now at this stage. And we're playing into them. We really are playing into them, because that this is what they want. They want to see the posting engagement go up. They want to see their likes. They want to see their shares, their retweets, the comments, the all of that stuff. They love it. Because they're getting paid for it. They might even get a bonus for it, actually. You know what I mean? How many followers extra can they get at the end of the month? They get an extra euro there per follower at the end of the month or something. I don't know. I don't even follow any of the guards' pages. I don't think, anyway. I might have unfollowed them at some stage. But again, what an absolute waste of time. And Yeah, like who are they protecting? Nobody. Like who's winning here? Like nobody's winning. Our community's not winning because how many people, how many patients were going to be relying on this? Like we just don't know. Like because this MCAP isn't fit for purpose, as Vera Toomey is pointing out. Like it's not. Like it's a shambles. Like let our people grow. Like let people grow their own cannabis. Like it why not? Like we should be allowed to be in control of our own health and our own medicines, while the government are failing to put proper avenues in place. We've been asking for them to set up proper avenues for years. It's not just the last 5 or 10 years. It's been 20, 30 years they've been asked. Like, so like they can't pretend to not know. Like this is going on a long time. Like, but a man arrested in his 30s anyway in this, and file being prepared with the DPP and investigations ongoing. Again, like this man, like he could have been an active member in our society. Who knows? Like he could have been a cannabis enthusiast. Like maybe he was just a guy who really got into it, like into the sale and supply of it. Like this guy mightn't be a bad guy at all, but he's going to be treated like it. And I would imagine a lot of people, even within our own community, would find it hard to support a case like this because they're like, well, it's 200,000. He's obviously a dealer. It's like, so what? Like, who do you get your cannabis off of? Like, somebody has to sell it. Like, if people are ambitious and they want to make money, like, I'm not going to judge them any longer. Like, the government are failing to provide cannabis to the people, and these people are stepping up to do it. Like, they're entitled to make a bit of money along the way. But I do encourage people to grow their own cannabis, to form their own little cannabis clubs, like their little own circles, and just be self-sufficient, like, because you just don't know. You could be supplying a fucking or supporting a rapist or a murderer, as I reported in last week's 420 news. So in other news there, and it's another tweet by the Gardaí as well, and again I suppose highlighting the dangers there to our Gardaí, because in this tweet they're highlighting that they seized €12,500 worth of cannabis and 2 firearms. One of them is a sniper rifle, and the other one, which looks kind of like a replica, old school, one of the ones you'd put a bit of gunpowder into and stuff like, but obviously it hasn't been decommissioned maybe and they're seizing it. I'm not too sure. But again, like, there's a danger here. Like, what if this dude was up in his roof, like, smoking a big blunt paranoid out of his head, like, just after popping a lot of pills that the doctor was after giving him as well. And he thought the cops were watching him all along anyway. And he starts sniping the cops as they humming. Like, who knows? Like, it's a potential scenario that could happen. Thank God it didn't. Like, but, like, why are we allowing our guards to risk their lives like this? It's sad. Like, it's a sad, sad situation, man. It really fucking is, man. And yeah, I don't see any kind of end to it in sight, really. Because the guards, they're all benefiting from it. The solicitors, the judges, they're all benefiting from it. So none of them. It's up to us. It's up to us out there, guys. It's up to us. If we want to see change, it's up to us to stand up and fight for change. Fight peacefully, obviously. Civil disobedience, guys. The 20th of September, guys. I want to see more people set up their own events. I still haven't seen it, like, but I would love to see more people set up their own events. I was talking with a bunch of activists last night, and they're talking about doing a walk, like, where people would just at maybe 4:20, everybody goes and starts doing a walk, maybe does a Facebook Live or something like that. Again, look, I want to see more events. I want to see more participation. I want to see more people out there publicly calling for change, and I would love to see it done all collectively around 4:20, which is April 20th. It's a Tuesday, I believe, and yeah, we should be doing it together, because unless we unite, unless we all stand up and call for change, we aren't going to get it, sadly. Even Gino Kenny doesn't have much faith in his own bill, like, and we have to restore that faith. We need to rise up as the people. As other news out there then as well, above in Dublin, there was a drug seized and arrest made at Temple Bar. So while Temple Bar can't sell drink, it seems like cocaine is still being sold from up there, because this involved cocaine being seized and a man being arrested. And again, like, Gardaí wasting their time fighting the failed war on drugs. This is €60,000 worth of cocaine, like, a small drop in the ocean, like, compared to what is actually out there. And they're not really catching the main suppliers, like, they never do, like. Apparently, during the course of the operation, Gardaí seized cocaine with an estimated street value of 60,000 in various seized packaging, with a subject to a street or analysis sent to Forensic Science Ireland. A number of mobile phones. There was 8 men ages ranging from 29 to 18, and one juvenile, so one guy under 18. They were arrested at the scene and taken to a number of different Garda stations. Again, like, you're not a young person here, like, I don't know, 17, 16 potentially. This is sad. Like, we need to end this, like, once and for all. Like, if people want to use cocaine in our society, the government need to get the fuck out of the way. Like, the only thing the government need to be doing is providing a safe and regulated outlet, an avenue in which people can acquire cocaine, where there's not blood associated with the trade, with the trafficking or the delivery of it. Like, because currently that's the only way people can do it. Like, there's no way of ensuring that the cocaine you bought didn't come from some poor person who was forced to traffic it somewhere along the lines. Like, we don't, like, and here we have again, like, a young person who should be nowhere near fucking illegal drugs, or drugs, illegal or illegal. Like, if we had a sensible bloody age limit in place, this would there'd be less likely to be happening. Like, it really would. Or you've guys 29 to 16, 17, like, all together taking coke with 60 grand. 60 grand's worth of coke. Like, it's not a small amount of coke either. And more failed operations here with these two bows, these two bold bows, drug dog Bailey and what's the other fella's name actually? What's the other dog's name? Do I have the other dog's name? No, I don't have the other dog's name here, sadly. Sorry, other dog, you're going to her name remain nameless. But these two bows, anyway, they helped our revenue services intercept what is €136,000 worth of drugs, and that includes 8 grand worth of fags there as well. These seizures were made at Dublin, Athlone and Rosslare, so an operation that was carried out across the country in multiple locations, again, like multiple people involved in this. And all they're really worried about, like, for the cigarettes are a legal product, but all they're worried about there is they're not getting their duty, so they're going to seize them. But again, like with the cannabis, like, why can't, like, if we were able to get cannabis legally, like, how much cannabis would be coming through our mail service that would need to be seized because duty isn't paid on it? It would be very little. It would be about the same amount of cigarettes. Like, how many cigarettes are smoked out there? How many are consumed? How many come through our mail? Very little in comparison to what's actually bought legally. So again, like, we do the same with cannabis, like, and we would see an end to this, like, and these people then, the revenue officers, those drug dogs, like, they could better spend their time, like, they could be diverted to other things, like. I don't know, can they retrain these old bows to find other things after they've been trained to find cannabis? But like, I would gladly adopt one of these dogs anyway once they need to be retired, when cannabis is legalised, because it will be legalised soon, guys. I do have faith in you out there, guys. I do have faith in the public. I do have faith in this democracy, that we can rise up and overgrow this government and overcome this silly prohibition and undo it. It's close. It's not far away. Like, it's really not, like. But I suppose in this interception anyway, in these packages, they found one of them included €50,000 worth of cannabis in 23 separate parcels coming from the UK and Spain. Some of the parcels were marked as boxing equipment, dough craft toys, fishing tackle, beef jerky and ice hockey equipment, and they were destined for various addresses throughout Ireland. So sorry guys if any of you were expecting some cannabis deliveries. Years might have been included in these seizures, because it seems like it's a bunch of individual ones, like 23 separate parcels. Like, that's not a small amount, like, and 50,000, like, so what's that, like 23, like, so about on average, like, there's about like 2 grand, like, give or take, there on average in each parcel. That's only about 100 grams of weed. Like, that's what, like, about a quarter pound, about 4 ounces of cannabis there, like, getting seized on average. All is single packages. Like, most likely, like, for maybe a person's own personal consumption, you're buying maybe 2 or 3 months worth up front because you've saved some money. Who knows, like, but the boys are going to be crediting themselves now as a massive operation. Like, well done to us and our drug dogs, like. In the other package, then, it was 77,500 worth of drugs in 28 separate parcels again, like, coming from the UK, USA, and Canada. And again, like, that's a massive amount of parcels, like, all separated, like, probably all individual people, like, buying these. In these packages, then, there was herbal cannabis, cannabis oils, cannabis edibles, cocaine, and butane honey oil, so BHO. So again, like, how many patients were relying on this? Like, how many patients here were buying oil because the government are failing them and not doing what they should be doing and taking care of them and making sure they have effective access to what is a very incredible and beneficial plant in the cannabis plant. Like, it's a shame. Like, it really is a shame. Like, oh, drug detector dog Bailey and where's the other guy there? I just seen their names. No. Oh, well. A statement from Revenue added that a Polish national in his 40s was questioned in connection with the cigarettes. That said, whoever it was with the cigarettes got nabbed, I think, because that was actually involving a truck. He was coming over on a truck coming over from Rosslare. So he got questioned on it when he was coming off the ferry. So yeah, that was the crack there. What a crazy fucking situation we have in here, like. Frank Fian, man. Stephen Donnelly shaming you. You're failing the people. What are the people out there saying, guys? So what's happening out there in the comments? I see a lot of comments coming in. See some people up there. In your opinion, if drugs were decrim, how best should people get access to them? And your question mixed there. I think again, like, just the government need to sort that one out. I don't have the answer there. Maybe for cannabis, I could provide the answer for cannabis. Like, we let the people grow it themselves, set up associations, and we put in place like age limits. Like, there's sensible things we could put in place. So it's not that hard to figure out. Like, as well, I suppose earlier that like drug offences are up, but sure, other crime went down. But no, actually, other crime went up as well, because other crimes in Cork went up, include rape. So while Gardaí were dealing with more drug detection, they were also dealing with more reports of rape. So imagine, like, you're a cop and on your desk you have rape cases and you have drug cases. Like, the drug cases are easy to deal with because, once you catch a guy with drugs, he's caught with drugs. But in a rape case, like, man, that's horrible. You have to take a bloody statement from a victim who's been raped. And then you have to go and take maybe a statement from the guy who or the person, the perpetrator of that rape. It's mad, like, it's horrible, like, to think. But obviously the cop is going to want to do the easier one and capture the guy who's smoking a bit of weed, like, of course, like, you don't want to be dealing with rape. Like, we need to take this low hanging fruit away so our Gardaí can actually focus on a real crime, like, because rape is up as well in the city. Like, that's a scary to think. Like, Bertie was Bertie thought he was John Gotti. Podge is saying that they did him under drug trafficking act, though, even though there's drugs. The drug trafficking act actually includes having like large sums of money, so ill-gotten gains. So I think that's included there under that, and that's kind of what they're focusing in on. No drugs. Sorry, bit stoned. Fun fact about Bertie: when he was young, he got kicked in the head by a horse. Zombie Nation is saying, what's happening, Zombie? He's saying, very coincidental that all these checkpoint laws have been put in place for different reasons, but under the blanket of COVID. And look at all the stuff that they're detecting, man. It's crazy to think, like. Tommy McIntyre is saying, we want to grow our own. I hate having to support gangs. Me too, man. I hate it as well. I want to see more people support or grow their own and set up their own little grows. Support your own friends and things like that, like, and be able to prove to a judge that it's not for profit. Then if you ever get busted, fuck it, it's your human right. You're only protecting yourself. We all deserve to be able to protect ourselves in society, like, and the government are failing us currently. So it's upon ourselves to do it, and I think that's a very good argument to be making in court. So just prove you're not making a profit off of what you're doing, and you're doing it just for your own personal consumption and maybe for the benefit of one or two friends as well. I don't see why any judge should be able to punish you if you do it. One Podsy saying, overgrow the government. Yes, lads, overgrow the government. Hey, guys, I'm going to be starting to send out those seeds as well to you very soon. So keep your addresses coming in there to me, or get your details in, or if you want to meet me in around the city, and if you want to get a couple of seeds to do a bit of cannabis planting around your city or village or whatever it is, wherever you live, do get in touch, and we will overgrow the government, and we'll have cannabis plants everywhere. The whole intention is just to grow cannabis plants for the purpose of them being seen, and not actually for buds and all of that. That's if they get that far, and if they do produce buds, that's the job. But that's not the intention. It's just to have a few of those very noticeable fan leaves popping up everywhere. What's happening, old Scooby-Doo out there? Scooby-Doo's over on Twitch. What's happening to the old crowd on Twitch? We do have a crowd over on Twitch, 3 of you out there. So Scooby-Doo's saying, chat should check out Outdoor Warrior on YouTube. Great outdoor gorilla grower over in the UK. So there you go, guys. Check it out. Great. The Outdoor Warrior, it's called. And other comments coming in there then again. And we will go back to the 420 news. I have a few more headlines there just to get to. But I will just get through one or two more comments before they disappear from my vision. Prohibition allows the market to thrive unregulated. It's a game of cat and mouse with the guards. They will never win a war on drugs, but they love playing the game. That's the thing. They benefit from it because they love playing the game. The cops love playing the good guy, and the drug dealers, us drug users, we're the bad guy. And, you know, they sleep well at night because in their own crazy lunatic world that they live in, their twisted version of reality, they think they're doing a good job, you know. But they're not. They're not. We are not bad people. We are not criminals, although policy has branded us so. We need to rise up above that and stand up against this discrimination. It is discrimination. Again, we look at it, that's a violation of our human rights. We're not allowed to be discriminated against in our society, so we can't allow it. Stand up for your rights, guys. As Bob Marley said, get up, stand up for your rights. Yeah. Man Falls as well out there on Twitch. What's happening? Guys, again, if you don't mind, go over there and give me an old follow on Twitch. If you're over there watching me now on Twitch, give me an old subscription as well. I'm trying to get to that 50 so that I can get up that old tier into the old affiliates so I can get access to have my streams saved a bit longer up there. That's mainly it. Get better services off them. So do give me an old follow over there on Twitch. Tommy McIntyre over on YouTube then is saying, once restrictions are lifted, we can organise mass protests on a regular basis. 100%, yeah, once restrictions are lifted, mass protests in key points around Ireland. But until then, I think multiple, as many as possible, hundreds if not thousands of tiny little satellite protests where it's like 10 or 20 people, just you and your friends, literally just you and your friends go down, roll up a blunt and go down to your local park with a bloody banner at 4:20, and at 4:20 spark up your blunt, hold up your banner and smoke it on up, guys. And that's your protest, guys. We can all do this. Like, that is a protest, like, whether you like it or not. Bring somebody with a camera while you're smoking up, like, have somebody record it, like, and publicize it, like, and hopefully the media then pick up on what is a massive campaign. But we're respecting the health guidelines then too. But we are also exercising our right to protest. It is our right to protest, and we can follow health and safety guidelines while doing so. So to anybody else out there who says different, you're entitled to your opinion. Do you know, you're entitled to your opinion, but as I just expressed there, I do believe we can protest and adhere to the health and safety guidelines too at the same time. Unlike in the UK, guys, they are trying to criminalise them for protesting, so don't allow them to do that here. Like, don't do that to ourselves here, like, and self-regulate ourselves like this by saying, oh, it's so inappropriate to protest right now. Gardaí are kicking in our door, they're taking away people's medicine. Like, how appropriate is that? And you're telling me we can't protest? No, like, that's bollocks, like. In protest, follow guidelines. As I said, hundreds if not thousands of little satellite events. 5 people, even 2 people, guys. You only need 2 people. Go down to your local village, the 2 of you, spark up your blunt, hold your banner, and who knows, another 2 people might have the same idea and show up, and now there's 4 of you. Hey, there you go, lads. Like, power in numbers, lads. Come on, like, we've less than 4 weeks, like 4 weeks yesterday. I have faith in you guys. I have faith in you that we can do this and we can have a massive kind of campaign across on 420. Online, in your town, village, wherever it might be, go to a local park, go to a little secret location and just put it up there. Then use the hashtag Cannabis Liberation Day, and we'll see what we can do then and trying to highlight it and see how many people we have holding their own little events around the country. Let's see what happens. Other comments out there. Opium should be picked up. Opium shouldn't be picked on just because they make heroin out of it. Opium can cure alcohol addiction and cure dysentery. Exactly, opium has its uses too, like, you know, just because some people abuse it, like, doesn't mean it doesn't have its uses, like. So again, like, no drug user needs to be discriminated against. Keith Griffin says, what's up, Martin? Sorry I'm late, bro, just collecting a bit. All good, man. It's good to have you coming in, whether you're late or not anyway, so welcome along to the show. You can always catch up afterwards. WRT Gunner 43, what's happening? Pat, what's happening? Guards are out here with drug dogs and I can't get a disability support dog. Shame on them, man. It's crazy. Like, how much is wasted every year supporting this war on drugs, and people like yourself, you can't get this fucking support dog. I'm ashamed of the society that we live in, that we waste so much bloody money, man. John Finnegan is saying that he's also late today, but thanks for the 7 snotty orphan take, Martin. Repost the show by the kid. Yeah, I hope I read that out right there anyway. But other comments coming in. Should do an outdoor grow for info video season coming up. I definitely will be. That's on my to-do list, guys. So watch this space. There will be some stuff like that coming soon. Little instructionals for people to take part in the campaign. Hypothetically, how would you fix nitrogen toxicity in a hash plant at Martin's World? And nitrogen toxicity, you would just flush your soil, I would imagine. Just flushing your soil, just using plain water. Sometimes even using a reverse osmosis water, actually, but that might actually leach your soil of other micronutrients. So just using normal water, that should be able to flush your soil of excess nitrogen and help maybe get things back in balance. Hopefully that helps. Head over to the Percy's Grow Room for more information if you need it. Dyer Patrick Corbin is saying, I was falsely accused of rape 15 years ago. The Garda pulled me apart when the bitch, was told she had to take a rape test. She flat out refused and I was still being questioned for 2 hours. Sorry you had to go through that, man. Jeez, that's a horrible situation to be found yourself in. Other comments coming in. There's so many comments, guys. Jeez, I'm going to fly down through them there. I'm already doing it, Martin. I've planted about 12 seeds around the place. Excellent. Well done. And I want well done there, Keith. Happy days, man. It's good to hear. Pat saying, would love to just grow my own, but have no experience at all and worried it'll be a pain in the arse to cultivate. Pat, don't worry about it, man. If you kill some plants, that's all a part of learning. That's how you learn. Literally, like you have to break some eggs to make an omelette. So don't be afraid of it, man. Honestly, don't be afraid of it. That's the best way you're going to get experience. Never try, never know. You know, that's something to be afraid of. A life not lived, you know, an experience not had because of fear of failure. Don't let a fear of failure get in the way, lad. Zombie Nation says, guys, growing your own is real easy. It's a weed. Exactly. There you go, man. It's a weed. It'll grow fucking out your ear if you let it. Pat just saying that, Pat, look up Percy's Grow Room. There you go, lads. Look up Percy's Grow Room. Other comments coming in there as well, lads. I see loads of comments coming in. Jeez. Paul Gray saying you can extract opium from Papaver orientalis, which is the Latin name, which is in every garden, and you're exactly right. That is in every garden, although there is a smaller amounts in that one. And there is the Papaver sinniferum, I think, is the other one that has higher levels of it. I could have been wrong there, knowing that that Latin name. Been a while now since I knew the old herbal science. Pat saying, loving this initiative. Can't wait for 420 to overgrow these feckers. Exactly, lads. 420. Let's bring it. Less than 4 weeks away. 4 weeks yesterday. Yeah, nitrogen toxicity, you need to flush it at least 3 times the pot size. There you go. That's a good indication. If you're using an 11 litre pot, maybe, so you're saying flush it with 3 times the pot size, 11 litres, so that's 33 litres of water. That's a lot of water, man. But yeah, if that's what this guy is saying, that's not what I'm saying. That's coming in there from Paul Gray as well, actually. Yeah, nice one, Paul. Andy Carrington is saying, get some Thai sticks full of seeds, apparently. For Grace, homegrown is the way forward. Yes, man. And Martin James the Wire saying, do they smell bad after a couple of weeks? No, man, get yourself a carbon filter and a good well-sealed tent and you'll never have an issue with smell. Other people saying morphinus, as you said. Zombie Nation, nice one on Martin's World. We love you too, bro. Much love as well, guys. I love all you out there. It's all great. It's always great to have you on. Guys, let's get back to the news because it's rolling on to almost an hour since I started the show. So let's get this stuff done. So the next piece I have for you is that there was a father of 3, and I hate this, man. When people find themselves in front of the judge for being in possession of large amounts of drugs. This father unfortunately got found in possession of €115,000 worth of heroin, and he also had in his possession, I think it was about €800 worth of cannabis and a couple of €100 or maybe €1,000 worth of in cash. Interestingly, in this the heroin was found in a Henry Hoover that was located out in the back shed. The more worrying part of this is that the guards carried out the raid on the house while the man wasn't present, but who was present was his wife. His wife answered the front door of the house, and she let the guards know that the 3 kids were asleep up in bed. So while these kids slept in bed, Gardaí carried out a raid at their home. Now, I would imagine the Gardaí probably woke up the kids in the process of the raid, because they probably didn't exclude the kids' room for a search, because, people will hide drugs in their kids' rooms because they would hope maybe the guards won't search there, the authorities won't search there. But unfortunately they did, because it's just horrific. These kids have been exposed to such horrific circumstances. Again, if this was legal, this wouldn't be happening. It really wouldn't be happening. People wouldn't be supplying drugs like this out there, because if you were a person, you wanted to get heroin and there was a legal avenue to get it, this wouldn't be happening. Kids wouldn't be subject to this terrorism, but by people who were supposed to be protecting them. What's this doing now to the impression of these kids? Because obviously they love their dad. I can't question whether this man was a good father or not. I'm not going to say he's a bad dad because he was in possession of this. The man in this case, said he was under pressure. He felt pressured into doing it because the people who he was getting his cannabis off of, I would imagine, asked him to do it. The Gardaí said they don't believe that because they know that he knew the people very well. But all the Gardaí are actually indicating there is because this man knew him very well. But he knew the threats that could have come there. He knew the danger if he refused them, if he knew him very well. That's all it's saying. If the man knew him very well, he knew that if he refused them, there's potential they could target him. Maybe potentially he actually owed him money. Who knows? Maybe he didn't want to allude to that fact. That, look, I owed him a few bob there, and this is how I paid off my debt. I don't know. Maybe he did say that at some point. But it's very unfortunate. These kids, who do love their dad very much, are now going to have a distaste for the Gardaí, for the authorities. They could be develop PTSD. Every time they hear a siren now, every time they see a cop, they could be fearful. I know myself, my own cousin had a fear of fire brigades. And now that I think of it, I wonder where that fear came from, because I wonder, was he present when his house was getting raided by cops? I wonder, did he associate the sirens of the fire brigade, of the authorities, of the cops, with these raids? I don't know, but it's a potential, because these kids, they're so impressionable, their minds are so malleable, that a traumatic event having these strangers go through your home, many of them, that's traumatic. It's crazy, and I suppose as serious a case as this is, there is a bit of a there is a bit of a joke to go with it, I suppose. To lighten it up, because I'm going to move on from this one very soon, but just to lighten it up a little bit, I found this little sketch up online, and it was a sketch from the BBC Russell Howard Good News show, and I'll just play it there for you so you can see this yourselves. It's going to pop up on screen there. I'll make it a little bit bigger for you guys so you can see it. A second.
A policeman has stolen a Henry Hoover during a drugs bust. I can't wait to see this on Crime Watch. Just a blacked out Henry. It was awful. He made me have a threesome with a Dyson. My favourite bit of the story was the reason why the son suggested he took the Hoover. Because his middle name is Henry. Maybe the cop was trying to rescue Henry from the squalor of a drugs den. Then again, maybe Henry loved it.
I was gonna clean my room until I got high.
So again, that's a little sketch that I found up there, and I just said, look, I'd lighten up that story there because, it's a horrible one. Again, as I said, I think about the kids involved in that, but the old Henry Hoover, then, I wonder will that go missing, because the Henry Hoovers are great, man. They're a fucking mighty Hoover. Shout out to Henry Hoover. They might sponsor the show someday. But another news story then out there was a businessman who, again, was transporting cannabis to pay for debt, loses his appeal. This was a Latvian man who was caught in possession of how much cannabis was he caught with again? Sorry, now I'll just get back into me notes here. He was caught in possession of almost €20,000 worth of cannabis, and he says that he was only transporting the drugs to pay off what was a debt he incurred, a non-drug related debt because of a business he set up. He set up his own business. He got into debt. Obviously, the business wasn't very lucrative. It didn't work out, and now he had this massive debt. And he knew some people, or those people knew him. He knew he was fucking desperate, and said, "Hey, come here, do this there. Look, move these this bit of cannabis there for us, and we'll give you a couple of €100." Like. And he probably was only getting a couple of €100 for this, like, and now he's paying dearly for it, because unfortunately, like, he found himself in front of in front of Judge Sean O'Donovan, and Judge Sean O'Donovan gave him what did he give him again? He gave him what did he give him? I'm after losing me notes here. He gave him a 5-year prison sentence. Which is a lot, like, in fairness, like, for a bit of cannabis, like 5 fucking years in prison, like. That's €500,000 that Judge Sean O'Donovan is costing our state to protect us from this businessman, like, effectively, like a guy who was taken advantage of by criminals empowered by the same system that Judge Sean O'Donovan fucking benefits from. Like, it's mad, like, it's so scummy what's going on here, like, and we need to rise up above this, guys. We can't allow this stuff to go on any longer, like. The Judge Justice Birmingham anyway saw no error in principle in how Judge Sean O'Donovan approached the sentencing, and therefore said he would not interfere with the imposed sentence, and therefore your man's going to continue to be held in jail now for another couple of years. Sad, like, really sad to think. Like, I'd love to know what the business that this guy was doing, like, was it good? Like, he obviously had a good head on his shoulders, like, he was trying to do well for himself, and he just made one foolish decision, and now the state has to pay €500,000 to take care of this guy for the next 5 years, because Judge Sean O'Donovan saw fit for it. It's sad, like. We jump on over then to County Mayo, where over in Mayo again, some ongoing operations seen €10,500 worth of drugs being seized in Knockmore, Ballina, and this was a seizure that happened up there yesterday. So €10,500 worth of drugs. Included in this was €8,000 worth of cannabis and cocaine worth €8,000 and cannabis worth €2,500. Again, like, no need for cannabis and cocaine to be found together. Like, it's sad that it is. But again, no need for a Gardaí to be wasting their time, putting their lives at risk. They say that this search then was a part of an ongoing operation over the last 18 months, guys. 18 months. 18 months of work and an accumulated what is like less than €11,000 worth of drugs, like €10,500 worth of drugs. Like, this is sad. Like, 18 months of work, like 18 months of Gardaí focusing on drug crimes when they could have been focusing on the rapists, the pedophiles, like the sick people out there in our society who actually pose a threat to us. Like, it's sad. Like, it's so fucking sad. Like, these drugs are going to be destroyed, like, they're going to benefit nobody, like, but as the Gardaí say, like, they can only ever hope to stop what is maybe 10% of the drug supply reaching the street, and that's in a very good year, like 10%, like. So, like, just in the coverage of the show, like, we'd imagine, like, there's nearly €2 or €3 million worth of drugs after being, like, gotten onto the street based upon those numbers, like. It's sad, like, it's a sad situation we find ourselves in. And your man Frank Fian up there, like, and he patting himself on the back, like, thinking he's doing a good job, like, sad, like. And in an unrelated incident then above in Mayo, like, Gardaí also sees another €11,000 in cash. 11,000 was found in by Gardaí when they searched the property in Ballina. So again, like, I don't know if this was in relation to this operation or what, but it didn't give any indication if it was, but it is in relation to drugs and a drug search. So a search was carried out under warrant in relation to drugs, and they found cash, €11,000. That's again, like, how the Gardaí are going to benefit. That money goes back into the old central fund. Sad, like, it really is. And I'm after saying that so many times today. And in other news out there, guys, the Gardaí in County Clare have seized cannabis and cocaine in separate seizures. So this is coming in Ennis, out of Ennis in County Clare. At around 6:30 p.m. yesterday evening, the Gardaí carried out a search of a premises, and during the course of one of the premises, they found what was €8,000 worth of cannabis, and the cannabis was split up into all separate bags, as you can see here. I don't know if you can see it good here, but that cannabis looks a lot better than the cannabis anyway that was pictured there the day previous, where the teenager was caught with the taser and the cannabis. At least we actually can see some buds here. But again, like, this lad is no way arguing that he was involved in the sale and supply of cannabis. But yeah, a file is going to be prepared. Easy work here for the Gardaí, as I say. Again, compare this to a rape case, A rape case, you have to take a statement from a person who has been raped, and often that's horrific. That can be often traumatic, even just taking that bloody statement. Oftentimes guards have to seek fucking psychological help afterwards to deal with the stress associated with this. So it's a welcome day in a cop's life to deal with this case over a rape case. It's, again, as I say, it's a sad day that the Gardaí are also focusing on this, and they're also focusing on rape. Like, nobody is threatened by cannabis. Like, the biggest danger here is if this cannabis is tainted, like, and that can be sorted out by proper policies, not by policing it. Policing it is failing. In the second operation, then in the first one anyway, a man in his 30s was arrested at the scene and brought to the Ennis Garda station, and he's detained under Section 4. In another search there, the Gardaí found what was €1,000 worth of suspected cocaine. So this is suspected cocaine, pictured here. Pop up the cocaine. There you go. The cocaine is popping up there now for you guys. So that's €1,000 worth of cocaine. It doesn't look like a lot, but I suppose it's just a picture. There's nothing there actually to scale it up with. Why are the comments baiting in like that? Fucking Streamlabs, sort that shit out. Or is that my internet? I don't know. But it doesn't look like a lot, like £1,000 worth of cocaine there on the table anyway, apparently. A man in his 30s again arrested at the scene, and sadly, wasted time by the Gardaí, wasted time by the authorities. They're going to be a court case pending. So much wasted time and money. And then in a final bit of news there, I suppose, this was an interesting one for you, because there's a father of four here involved in this case. Obviously a man who might have been known to the Gardaí, because he must have been under surveillance, because he was found whining and dining himself at a 5-star hotel in Dublin, where he paid up to like almost €2,500, €2,140 for one night at in a swanky old room at a 5-star hotel. This is going back in the January in 2019, so over 2 years ago. This is going back, like, so a 2-year fucking investigation into this to bring this case to the fruition, I suppose. It's, man, how much wasted human hours is going into this, like. It's mad. Like, all the man done was took out a room, like, and then while he was at the room, then he was consuming some cannabis and cocaine. He got caught with what were, I'd imagine, were personal amounts of cannabis and cocaine. It's not really saying how much he was caught with here in the article, like, but he was caught with some cannabis and cocaine in his room back then. Like, I don't know, that somebody in the hotel rat him out. Like, the man literally just ball up, like, pure scummy fella from Dublin, maybe, in his, I don't know what was he wearing, like the old Fred Perry and the Burberry hat or something, like, and he pulling out watts of 50s, and he's, how much is the room? There's $2,500, kid, keep the change, bye. And he went up the room, and your man, like, ratted him out then, like, I don't know what happened, like, how he got caught, like, but he got caught anyway in his room. And no offence there to this guy, Graham Whelan, like, who got caught. Like, I don't want to be saying that you are scummy, but I'm just kind of just saying potentially, maybe you are. Like, I don't know, man. Maybe the cops knew you. I don't know, man. I apologise. I'm not trying to say you are. But, like, maybe somebody in the hotel actually ratted you out, like, and they rang up and they were like, come here, there's a lad just come in here with a big wad of cash, like, and he's gone up to the room and he's coked out of his head and there's a stink of ganja off him. And the cops came down and raided his room. Like, it's a bad situation, like, but a 2-year investigation here anyway to investigate this fella and to prove that his money is from the proceeds of crime. Good luck to that one anyway, and how they're going to prove that. Like, I don't know, like, But it's an interesting one. They're trying to do it anyway because it's a job from, you know, they're going to benefit from it. It's a job for the boys. So that's it for today, guys. That is the 420 news, and thanks to everybody who's after tuning in. I see that all of the news went out. No dropped frames today. Yes, happy days, man. That's good to hear. But guys, other comments there. Then I'll shoot back to your comments. But before I do, I'm just gonna grab a swig of my ishka. UFC 260, I'll be sparking up for the main events. Happy days. I'll too be enjoying that UFC 260, Martin. Yeah, I look forward to that one. I think we might even be getting a poker night going with the old lads. Yes, the smoker poker is back. I can't wait. Yes. Smoker poker, lads. If you want to get involved in the smoker poker, if you're around Cork, I might be able to extend a +1 there. Let me know. It's a good old crack, but you got to bring your own bud, and you have to come with a COVID negative test. Only joking. Just don't no snotty noses, lads. But I don't think there'll be more than room for 2. Other comments coming in there, Martin. You're doing a great job. Nice one. That's good to hear, and that's coming in as well from Paul Gray. Paddy is saying, Midland boys tuned in. Shout out to the Midland boys. Hey, what's going on up there, lads? Hope you're keeping it country. Martin is also saying out there, I heard there more. I heard the numbers of drug use have gone up from COVID, and loads of people getting busted. Yeah, and it's just because our cops are not as busy. They're focusing more now on just catching people for drug crimes because they don't have to deal with all the drunks from the pubs and all of the other stuff that goes on when people are allowed to travel more than 5 kilometres from their home. Paul Efwick saying here another trick for to spot cops at night is the lights from the cops are brighter because light above curtain are brighter than normal car. There you go, guys. And also the cops go around with 2 bulbs. They'll never have a 4 bulb. Like I don't think the cops ever have the spotlights, which are the extra 4 bulbs down the bottom of the front headlights. That's because they're after being changed for blue lights. So if you ever have a 2-bulb car behind you, which kind of represents maybe a Hyundai or kind of different undercover cars they use, potentially you do have an undercover car. Other Hyundais and stuff like that, they normally have the extra spotlight down there, the 4 lights, so you might see those at night time too. So just another way. I hate it, lads. Do you ever be driving down the road at night time, like, and the 2-bulb is behind you, and you think it's the cops, like, and then you kind of turn the corner and you see the car go by and it's like a completely different car. It's like a fucking Ford Kuga or something like that, like where a car that they don't use, a Ford Ka or something, like, you know. You're like sooner the end Prohibition the better, like, because like I think a paranoid driver is actually much more dangerous and nothing worse than having cops behind you and you're just after picking up your bloody 50 bag. You're just after picking up your 50 bag and you're driving down the road and you can smell it now. The heat from your leg is after making the heat rise the smell of the cannabis up beside you, and you're freaking the fuck out now because you can see a squad car behind you and you can't take your eyes off it. So all you're focused on now is that squad car. You're trying to drive your best, but we all know when you try to act normal and try to do good, you end up making mistakes, like, because you overcompensate. So again, like, Prohibition putting us all at danger. Just even driving with cannabis, like, and your pocket is a danger because you might freak the fuck out. You mightn't be able to handle the hot seat. Drive straight into a wall because you're looking in your bloody rear view mirror the whole time, like. Paul Gray saying every person can grow 20 plants in Colombia in their decriminalised scenario. Excellent, man. Excellent. That's good to hear. Nice one for that information. Connor Webb says, nothing better than your birthday being on 420. Yes, delighted to hear, man. You're celebrating your birthday on 420 every year. Fair play to you, Connor. That's a nice green birthday you must be having. Other people saying, John Finnegan saying is sent in the messenger, pal. Happy days. I look forward to getting you fulfilled with all your seeds out there, guys. Paul Efwick also saying seeds need a nice pH neutral soil. Exactly, guys. A good one like that is Co.Carlow. Also, sand is good as well. Sand is good for germinating seeds, and different mediums like that as well. You just have to keep it moist. Other ones, Connor Webb saying 420, my birthday too. Oh no, that's Connor Webb as well. Yeah, you said that twice, Connor. Paddy Adigan saying, yeah, I read that out too, lads. Nice one. Back down there, why did the comments all double up, actually? That's why they all repeated themselves. Just because you have skills shouldn't equate you to being a dealer, but the Irish Guards, right? Yeah, man, it's a joke. Yeah, anybody out there who's a scales, and that's coming in from Andy, if you have scales, a lot of the times they will trying to paint you in the courts as being a dealer, rather than a guy who's just like wanting to maybe track his fucking daily uses. Keith Griffin saying, great news as always, keep her lit, bro. Nice on Keith, man. Hope you're doing good out there. Hope you're nice and blazed anyway after 420. Although you were late getting here, like maybe you were late because, as you said, you were probably picking a bit up. Podger Donovan saying, sure, have a puff. I will certainly have a puff. I have my volcano here beside me, and it's already heated up, so I might just pack up a bowl as I continue to go through your comments, and I'll blaze out an old bag with you guys. One of the downsides of the bowl, it can get a bit sticky afterwards. But it's good then you keep your spent cannabis from the grinds. So this is me jar of spent cannabis, and I'll use this later on to make up some butter or some sort of edibles, because it still contains some goodness, because when you vaporize it you leave behind some of the goodness. So you can capture that afterwards by just infusing it in some butter into some nice sugary cookies then, sure. And it doesn't matter if it doesn't got any of the terpenes or any of that stuff. Andy's saying there, Irish scales, if they measure really small amounts, they can use that against you, i.e. no one cooks with scales accurate to 0.1 gram. Excuse you, man, I'm a very anal cook. I'm very specific about my cooking. Like, just that extra bit of flour, like, and it's gone to waste. Like, you don't get that right consistency in your queen cakes, like, you know what I mean? So yeah, but you have to be specific in your cooking, like, Jesus. Other people out there, what's going on? And I'm just packing up a bowl here. Zombie Nation is saying a number of growers has increased tenfold in the UK, apparently. That's good to hear, man. That is really good to hear. And also, excuse me, that's the same crack here. I know myself, when the lockdown started there last year, the supply was affected. And basically it was affected so bad, a load of people just started panicking and wanting to grow their own cannabis. So it's a good reaction for the community to have, and it resulted in a lot more people now today growing their own cannabis. So yeah, I think I don't know what the numbers are. Would you say tenfold? Possibly. I don't know. Like, I'd be just pulling a number out of my arse now if I was to do it. So I won't. But it has increased. I can certainly say there is more growers today in Ireland than there was last year, guys. So just take that into your comfort zone, I suppose, knowing that it's a needle in a haystack. Like, just keep your lips sealed, keep a nice tight circle, and you've a very low chance of getting caught. Sorry, guys, just blowing up me bag here, getting a bit of vapor into it. So hopefully it's not too noisy there for you. What's going on out there? Other comments coming in there. Patrick is saying, I hate to say they're using anything. I had them pull up beside me on a seized Mitsu Colt and a Punto, so lads, they are in anything. Man, that's true, actually. I've heard of that, where Gardaí will use cars that they've seized, and they'll drive around in them, like, just pure inconspicuously. Like, you know, you think there's some fucking banger of a Punto, or some young boy racer, and it's literally a car that they're after seizing, and they're out driving around in it. Scumbags, man. Where's me Cork on? Oh, there we go. Lovely. Oh, and if you haven't tried a volcano yet, lads, you're missing out. It's just so tasty, especially a freshly packed bowl, man. It's just so packed in flavour. I haven't invested in Volcano at all, as Mr. Scooby Doo was saying. No, it's so good. It really is, man. Gotta give credit to those Germans, man. They're fucking masters at engineering. They really are. Like, this thing is nearly 5 years old now. Like 5 years ago, like I got this for my birthday as a present, and it's still going strong today. Like, it's an incredible piece of equipment. Like, Mr. Scooby Doo is saying my fella got raided during the week. Sick, and man, that's a bummer, man. What's the crack there? Are you left now without a supplier? Do you have anyone else to fall back on? Are you more at risk now, I suppose, because if you don't have anybody else reliable, you're much more at risk of getting ripped off. So would you take that gamble? Like, I know more people do. Like, I know loads of people who when the supply dried up, they took the chance and they get ripped off. Some people getting caught with oregano. So just be careful anyway, I suppose. You know yourself, Mr. Scooby-Doo, man. You're probably around long enough, and you know who to trust and who not to, hopefully. Paul Gray is saying Shamrock multi-purpose, actually very good, mixed with drainage and other stuff, but Shamrock good to start better than Little or West whatever stuff. Yeah, the little stuff isn't bad either. Like, they even offer Coca-Cola blocks as well. Coca-Cola blocks are really good, but don't buy into the kind of the environmental friendly side of it. Like, the stuff has to be shipped from the other side of the world. Like, but also, I suppose you do have the depletion of the peat bogs as well. Like, so. We had these kind of ethical conversations in colleges around horticultural use of peat, but actually there's way more peat being used for energy purposes than actually by the horticultural industry, interestingly enough. But look, that's for a completely different argument. Peat is very good. The Shamrock stuff, boom, that's good as well, the multi-purpose. Happy days. I like working with inert media myself in my own garden with my vegetables. I like to mix up my own soil. I like to buy chicken manure pellets. I like to get organic ones as well. I like to get worm castings, organic again. I have my own compost heap out my back garden that's thriving in worms at the moment. Like, so I got nice organic production going here for my onions, carrots, broccoli, and all of that good stuff. I should start. I might do a stream one day from my old polytunnel out the back garden. She can see all me veggies. What's going on out there? Martin James Dwyer, he says, if you didn't have a filter for smell, what could you use? I don't know. A stinkier plant. Get a stinkier plant to cover up the smell of the cannabis. I don't know, man. It'd be very hard to do. There's ozone purifiers, but they're dangerous, man. They produce ozone, and that can kill you. So that's dangerous. What else is there? You can get negative ion bulbs. So these are bulbs you can hang up in a room. So if again going to particle chemistry or particle physics, odor is positively charged, and you can get bulbs that produce a negatively charged ion which will interact with the odor molecule, and it'll cause it to fall down. But what happens then, those rooms apparently they get dusty, because it produces a particle of dust, I suppose, because of all the interaction. I don't know, that's kind of one thing I've heard anyway. Those rooms can get dusty. I don't know if that's true or not. But yeah, the negative ion bulbs, that's another one. And then you can get those ONA, the air freshener gels, but nothing will beat a carbon filter, in my opinion anyway, at least safely. Whoa, Martin, you just go subtitled. His accent isn't that bad. Hey. Yeah, I've seen that actually. I've seen the 420 News in some subtitles, and it's funny actually. Sometimes sometimes they get me incredibly wrong. Like, it's funny enough. Jeez, week long. WRT Gunner 43 is saying, I got plenty delivered today, Volcano's younger brother. Yes, man, the plenty. That's a nice job, actually. It's a good one. Again, like, you can't go wrong with the Starts and Bickle guys. Like, German engineering, man, it's a cut above the rest. It really is. And again, guys, I'm not invested in the company, at least not yet anyway. I don't have enough money to invest in anything at the moment. Dave Cadigan is saying the already vape bud is great as a sleeping aid. It actually is, yeah, it certainly is. And it's great just to have, like, as a nice little treat for yourself, you know, a month of gathering up your already vape bud there, and you have a nice little batch of brownies for yourself or something. Paul Gray is saying he uses saffron, which is much more expensive than weed. Yeah, no, I think cannabis is a bit more expensive. Is it? No, how much do you get again? A couple of strands of saffron. How many was in that? Was it 5 grams of saffron? Was it like €7 from the fucking, what's Schwartz guys, those Curbs guys? I love my saffron rice. I buy a bit of saffron as well myself from time to time and grind it up into the old pestle and mortar. It's great stuff. It is expensive, but yeah, it really is. Like, you look at it like little strands, little stamen from the saffron plants, like, and it's incredible the value of the stuff, like. But yeah, you're right. Like, it is. It's up there with cannabis. All right, the value of the stuff. Martin James Dwyer saying also a 600 watt LED light use a lot of electricity, 12 hours on. Like, guys, a 600 watt light will only use in the flowering period €1.80 of light a day. Just think about it, €1.80 of light a day. So a typical flowering period for your light, a 600 watt light, would cost you in the region of for an 8-week flowering period about €180. That's about 8 weeks, so that's not a lot of money at all. Like, think about it. Like just think about it. It's not a lot of money. Or 10 weeks, sorry, a 10-week period of a flowering 600 watts would be costing you about €180. Add in your fans and stuff. Like a typical 600 watt grow setup would be costing the equivalent of about maybe €300 to €400 per grow, and that grow could produce maybe 12 ounces plus. That's a no-brainer, guys. Get your grow kits up. And you don't even have to do a 600 watt. Like, you do a 250 watt grow there, like, and it's only going to cost you about maybe €100 per grow. And that's nothing. Like, it's a no-brainer, lads. Invest in your futures and stand up and fight for your rights and grow your own cannabis. It's a civil disobedience protest, guys. It's very valid. Damn comments, man. What's the comments? It's just fucking mortaring on in there, man. It's crazy. Dave Cadigan is saying I got ripped off with a CBD bud, and there you go, man. It's more people getting ripped off out there. Shit, I hate hearing it, like, but CBD bud, like, you go home, you think you gotten something nice, and it's like, you just have to, like, how much you get ripped off for? Like, what, 50 quid, 100 quid? I hope it wasn't more than that. I know people got ripped off for ounces. Like, they literally bought 2 or 3 ounces thinking they're getting a good deal on 2 or 3 ounces, and they fucking got ripped off with CBD buds. Heartbreaker. Scumbags out there, guys, watch your backs. Other comments saying there, same cost as a medium-sized fish tank. yeah, well, I don't know much about fish tanks, so I'll take your word for it. Other comments there coming in. Great news as always. Nice one. Other comments. Mr. Scooby-Doo is saying here that I'm going to chance growing over the summer for the first time and encourage everyone to do the same. Yes, I'm delighted to hear that, man. I'm so happy to hear that there's more people taking it upon themselves to grow their own cannabis. Yes, everybody needs to follow in the footsteps of Mr. Scooby-Doo there. Because, you know, it's don't be scared. Don't be scared. Like, if you grow a plant and it dies because you didn't take care of it, like, you learn from your mistakes. Like, and I suppose one important thing to learn is it's more detrimental to a plant to overwater it than underwater it. I think that's important to say to any new grower, is overwatering is worse than underwatering. Underwatering a medium, you'll be able to bring back the plant as long as it doesn't go underwatered for too long. But if you overwater it, you can cause root rot, which will kill the plant out, and you won't be able to spot the root rot until you can smell it, or until you maybe see wilting of the plant also, which again is too late at that point. So again, overwatering is more detrimental to underwatering. But if you're working with a peat-based medium, so again, if you're using that shamrock stuff, that stuff is a cunt to get wet again afterwards. Apologies there for my language, but it's really hard to re-wet afterwards. So just try not to leave it go too dry for too long, because you'll have a hard time trying to re-wet it. So there you go, guys. Little oral horticultural tips from the herbal scientist. Hey, you see, like, I was paying attention in class. Like, I really was. Like, I wasn't just thinking about weed all day. Although I probably was doing that too. Zombie Nation is saying spend 100 quid, guys. Yes, spend that money. I think a typical setup might cost you, like, in the region, like, as I say, 600 watt setup, 200 or 300 quid, and maybe 300 or 400 quid actually, and that's a good setup. Lights, fans, tent, everything. And then about another 300 or 400 quid to run it. All in all, like, your first grow is going to cost you about 600 quid. And if you get more than 2 ounces off of that 600 quid, man, you're winning. You're winning, because how much is 200 quid going to, or how much is 600 quid going to get you on the street? Like, it's probably not even going to get you 2 ounces. Like, so all you have to do is aim to get better than 2 ounces with your 600 quid investment over a 3-month period, and you're winning. And guess what? Next month, that's half. You no longer have to buy all of that equipment. Your investment is much less, so it's only going to cost you maybe 300 quid to run it. Like, so again, you only need to produce 1 ounce to be winning. Like, come on, guys, get growing, guys, come on. Safety in numbers. The more people growing, like, it's better. Form association then, guys, and fight for your rights. If you ever get busted, be able to prove what you're doing is not for profit. Go to the NCOD website, learn all about the cannabis collectives, about forming associations, about your rights, and be able to prove that what you're doing isn't a profit generating enterprise. That's the most important thing if you want to go to court. Be able to prove that what you're doing isn't for profit. It's for only growing your own cannabis for your own personal needs. And if you're supplying friends, then any money you were getting off of them, it's only to cover the cost of that. Like, it's not for profit. That's the most important thing to remember here. If you are undertaking this kind of growing your own, it's very important, guys. Be able to stand up in court and fight for your rights. Get the perspective right. Don't allow them to paint you as some criminal who is growing cannabis and profiting off of the sale of it to your friends. Be able to go in and say, no, Judge, it's not for profit, and here's my paperwork to prove it. Guys, let's do this shit, like. It's the only way forward. Like, are we going to really sit around and wait for another 4 to 5 years for this government to change, and hopefully the next guy to follow in the footsteps of Frank Fian and Stephen Donnelly might actually support on doing Prohibition? No, like, let's not wait around for these guys. Like, we've waited 30 years already for these fucking dinosaurs. Like, let's not wait any longer. NCOD, ENCOD. NCOD, it's the European National Coalition on Decriminalisation or something. I'm going to look it up there just so I can get the actual thing. NCOD, European Coalition for Just and Effective Drug Policies. That's NCOD. So NCOD, and then search NCOD with cannabis social clubs, and you'll be able to get some good documents up there and good videos as well. Just to protect yourself, guys. You want to have a good argument if you go to court. Like, again, they will try to paint you as a criminal. So be able to stand up and defend yourself correctly. And we if we can do this together, like, as I say, I am working on guidelines for us all to follow. I do have a blueprint here where you can put in, like, your light, the wattage, all of this stuff, like, and you'll get an output of how much it costs you per gram. And then you can work it out in your little group as to how much you should charge your friends for your cannabis to cover the cost of the grow. And again, like, growers can be looked after for their time as well in the grow. That's not a profit generating thing. Jeez, I ranted on there for a little bit, didn't I? WRT Gunner is saying best investment he ever made, or maybe she as well. Happy days, man. Delighted to hear, and I hope many more people will be able to say that as well in the not too distant future, guys. So get growing, guys. And Zombie Nation is saying 2 ounces is really easy. Last chop, I got 672 grams from 2 plants. 2 plants, guys. That's nearly 18 ounces, like. That's crazy, like. No, that's more than 18 ounces, isn't it? 500 grams is 18 ounces. That's a lot of fucking weed, boys. That's 2 plants. Like, guys, get growing. Like, grow 2 plants and get yourselves fucking nearly over 18 ounces, 20 ounces, is it? Fair play to you, zombie, man. Well done. Like, that's unreal. Like, and guys, if you want to learn how to do that, go over to Percy's Grow Room, and there's all the information you need is up there. And I believe Zombie Nation is a member of the old forum over there. So if you want to be able to learn how to grow plants like Zombie Nation, like 2 plants where you get over 670 grams of cannabis, go over to Percy's Grow Room, guys. Invest in your small little cannabis setup, like, and start growing your own. A grant to the government each month for 1 person. I don't know what that is for. A grant to the government each month for 1 person. What's that for, Martin? I'm not too sure what that is. Sorry. I might have said something there a few minutes ago that you were touching off of. But Mr. Scooby-Doo is saying that social clubs could be a great way forward, lad. Good stuff. Exactly, lads. And they're happening already. We just don't know that we're doing it. How many people out there right now are growing cannabis and they're selling it to 3 or 4 friends? How many? I know of a few. I know of these little circles. These circles just need to organise and formalise themselves now so that if the day comes where they get a knock on the door, they're able to argue this effectively in a court of law and stand up for their rights. That's the way I see it anyway. Like that's what I'm working towards, and I hope more people will help me in that. So Sean T. Campion, what's happening, man? He says, Sean TC here, got a birthday toke, 67. Unfortunately, it's shite. Somebody help him out. And man, I wish I could help you out, Sean, man. And happy birthday as well, Sean, man. And I'll toke one here as well for you. And I'll birthday puff. So happy birthday again, man. And I hope it's as good as the previous 66. Zombie Nation is saying I have about a quarter left. Good man. Fair play. Anyone else out there? Zombie Nation is an admin, guy, so you'll be in good hands over there, guys. And Martin James Dwyer is saying that's what I smoke a month. Yes. There you go, man. You're going to have to grow 4 plants then, Martin. Other comments coming in there, lads. Just a fun fact, if you do get jail, say for growing weed of 2 ounces, it costs them 100,000 per year a prisoner to hold. Mad to think. Exactly, guys, that's what I'm saying. Like that lad who got 5 years a while ago, like it's crazy, like 100,000 per year to lock that guy up who had the heroin in his Henry Hoover. 5 years he got. Like, if we think about it, like over in Switzerland where they have the heroin-assisted therapy or heroin-assisted treatments, do you know, like, how much that costs per year? Like, I have the amount up here now. I'm just going to pop it back up on my screen. So the annual cost of the heroin-assisted treatment per patient ranges from €12,700 a year up to €20,400 a year, and that's in Switzerland and Netherlands respectively there. So Switzerland have been doing it for a bit longer, so maybe that's why they're able to do it for a bit cheaper than the Netherlands. And they did go on then to say that these are much higher than the annual costs for oral methadone. And we all know, like, that the methadone program in Ireland, like, while it's very much welcome, it has shortcomings. What they found with a heroin-assisted treatment over in Switzerland is people who signed up to the program, they used less illegal drugs, less illegal street drugs. So therefore, they were sourcing less drugs from the illegal drug trade. Therefore, doing less support for the criminal drug networks. Like, great fucking work, like. So therefore, fathers of 4 don't need to be storing drugs for these criminal gangs because he is indebted to them because of a bit of cannabis, like. Crazy to think, like. We already provide methadone to people. Can we not just provide them heroin? Can we not just give people diamorphine? That's exactly what heroin is. Like, the street name is heroin, but the scientific name, like the chemical name, is diamorphine, like. If we just give it to people, like, there you go. Like, no longer then can drug gangs actually sell it on the streets, because now people can actually go into a centre and get it, like. And it only costs 12,700 per person, like, per year. Like, at least that's what Switzerland can get it down to, like. Surely Ireland can strive towards doing that, like. Surely it's better to spend that money there than spending 100,000 per year on to keep a prisoner, like. Really, like, come on, like, help people rather than punish people. It's a no-brainer at this stage. Switzerland have really shown the way forward. Like Portugal, like, it's doing really well in their decriminalisation too. I don't think they have any heroin-assisted treatment programs in Portugal yet. Like, but again, like, it shows it's possible, like, that we can do this. We can decriminalise the drug user, and we can adopt these programs into our own state and take care of these people, these very vulnerable people who need to be taken care of, like. Otherwise, criminals are going to bloody make thousands, like, and fathers are going to be locked up. Literally, like, 4 kids now who are growing up without a father figure in their life for the next 4 to 5 years. Kids who are going to have to maybe visit their dad in prison because he was indebted to people he knew, and they asked him to store some heroin, like. He probably didn't even know it was heroin, like. He might have thought it was cocaine. We don't know, like. We really don't know, like. And Prohibition fucking enables this shit in our society. Man, I'm an hour and 35 into this. This is nearly a 2-hour stream today, guys. I'm very sorry, man. It's yeah, I'm gonna have to sign off in the next 5 minutes because I have a college workshop starting at 6 o'clock. Going in there incredibly big and getting a tour of a pharma facility virtually. Should be great fun. I don't know who it is. It was Janssen yesterday, but I think it might be Pfizer or one of those guys. Hopefully it's Johnson. If it's Johnson, I'll ask him some questions about their LSD therapies. Or their ketamine, is it ketamine? I think they yeah, Johnson make ketamine. Dave Cogan saying methadone's meant to be harder to come off. Yeah, that there is people who say that actually, that it is a bit harder to get people off of it because the withdrawals are a bit more worse from the methadone. So yeah, that there is that being said out there. So it's just bollocks. Like, methadone is the government's drug and heroin is the street drug. But really, in reality, it's only Prohibition that makes heroin the street drug. If we just take Prohibition out of the equation, then we can give people heroin through these centres, like, and actually care for them at the point of at the service, like, much like they do in Switzerland, like. Paul Gray saying bye, coffee time. Catch you later, Paul, man. Sorry guys for ranting on for over an hour. I'll just read 1 or 2 more comments there and I will start signing off then guys. Iboga is greater than methadone. I 100% agree with you guys. I'm a big believer in plant medicines. I'm a big believer in, like, mushrooms and iboga and ayahuasca, all of these different alternative treatments in the right setting. They have shown a lot of promise for helping people address underlying issues which cause addictions. Yeah, exactly. Like, iboga is much greater than methadone. But again, like, I don't want to stigmatize people. Like, if people want to do the methadone thing, like, let them off. Like, iboga is a scary one, man. I love to try it someday myself. But apparently it's a very challenging situation. But sure, like, that's what shapes us, man. I love a good challenge. I really do. Like, it's scary though. It certainly is, the thoughts and the prospects of it. Dave Cogan saying, do I need a 250 watt ballast for a 250 watt bulb, or will any ballast do? Yeah, man, you need a 250 watt ballast for a 250 watt bulb, otherwise you'll blow the bulb. Unless the ballast is a dimmable ballast, but still that means you're just dimming it down to 250 watt. So yeah, don't use a 600 watt ballast for a 250 watt bulb, or you might blow it, or you most likely will blow it. So yeah, that answers that, hopefully. Other comments, guys. When is the bill to be released? As I said, the bill is to come out in June or July from Gino. Paul Gray says, I'd recommend everyone watch Hamilton's Pharmacopoeia. You can download it or use VPN. Hamilton's Pharmacopoeia is great, guys. I really enjoy that show myself as well. And I love the, what was it called again? The Bong Appetit. Bong Appetit was really cool as well, man. I loved that cannabis pantry that they had. Oh, it was great, man. Vice put out some good shows there around drugs, alright. And WRT is saying here, 29 watching and only 21 likes. Guys, hit that button, hit that like, subscribe, share it out, guys. Whatever social media channels you get on, let everybody know that 420 News is where they should come and get their cannabis related news and their drugs related news from all around the world. Mostly Ireland though. All of today's news was Ireland. We crossed the border to the north for a little bit there to Carrickfergus, but yeah, all of it was in Ireland otherwise. Other news, other comments there's ammunition is drug war me arse. Move to these government drugs where we get rich from your misery. Yeah, exactly, man. It's a drug war me arse, exactly. They peddle their own drugs. You know, it's a war of discrimination, really. You know, their drugs over others. Strain hunters also coming up there from Jack O'Queen. Queenock, you're there, right, man. Strain Hunters is good there as well. I don't know if they made any new episodes. It's been a while actually since I've watched Strain Hunters. Any good weed documentary coming in from Martin James Dwyer? I'm not too sure actually of any good ones that I've watched lately. I haven't watched any good ones lately. There's certainly always good ones from the past, like The Union. That was always a good one if you haven't seen that, but most people have seen that by now. On growing, there's some really good fucking growers out there, guys. There's good groups as well to learn about and growing. If you're over on Facebook, I love the Probiotic Alliance group. They do all about probiotic cannabis growing. Wealth of information there on Facebook. Also on Percy's Grow Room. And as well on YouTube, guys, there's so many great channels out there you could be following where guys are just educating people on how to grow cannabis by just charting their own growing of cannabis. The Percy channel is one of them as well. So guys, I'm going to sign off because my meeting is starting right about now, and I'm going to have to get ready for that. So guys, keep it blazed out there. It's been an absolute pleasure to bring you today's 420 News. After an hour and 40 minutes, I am going to say goodbye. Stay blazed, guys, and keep her lit. Much love.